You are watching UK Crownix. This is a move that no one thought would happen. Prince William has officially made a strong action to block Harry and Meghan for good. We are going deep to understand why this final barrier was created. The line has now clearly been drawn. And this time, Prince William is making sure that Harry and Meghan will never be able to cross it again. This is no longer just a simple family fight. What we are seeing now is the possibility of a complete legal barrier. A move so strong that it could push the Sussex family out of the future of the British monarchy forever. For many years, people around the world watched two brothers who looked like they could never be separated. But today, that connection is not just broken. It has been completely destroyed. Behind the private doors of Adelaide Cottage, the Prince of Wales is said to be making one of the hardest choices of his life. People close to the palace say that William is now looking at every possible option, including setting formal legal limits, to make sure his wife, Catherine, and their 3 children are protected from the ongoing problems coming from across the Atlantic. Take a moment to really think about how serious that is. A future king having to think about something like a restraining order in spirit, even if it is not officially filed in court, against his own brother. This is the story of a man who has chosen his duty and the safety of his close family over the memories of a childhood bond that no longer exists. So how did things reach this point? What was the final moment that pushed William from quiet anger into complete and cold separation? As we go deeper into this analysis, we will reveal the harsh truth about Harry's legal problems and how his own claims are now being used against him by people from his past, like Charlotte Griffiths, who are now ready to share their own side of the story. We will also look at Meghan's careful media strategies and why they have not been able to change the opinion of a public that values tradition and respect more than anything else. If you believe that the honor of the monarchy and the safety of one's family should always come first, make sure to subscribe and become part of our community as we explain this major change in royal power. This is not just another news story. It is the end of a brotherhood and the start of a new, strict era for the House of Windsor. But before we talk about the legal details, we need to understand the emotional breaking point that changed everything. When we hear the words restraining order, we usually think about serious criminal cases or unstable family fights. But in the case of the House of Windsor, it means something much deeper. It shows the complete breakdown of family communication. For Prince William, the choice to create what insiders are calling a strong emotional and physical shield around his family is not about hate. It is about the hard truth of security in today's world. You have to see things from the view of a man who is not only a brother, but also the future king, and most importantly, a father. For years, William watched as private talks, childhood memories, and even very sensitive details about royal life were turned into content and shared publicly for profit. Whether it was through a long documentary series or a large book, the privacy of the palace was broken. To William, Harry is no longer just his brother. He has now become a possible risk to security. In the United States, people place a very high value on the privacy of their homes. Now imagine that someone from your own family spent years publicly criticizing your partner, questioning your honesty, and sharing your private health issues. Would you still invite that person to sit at your table during a family holiday like Thanksgiving? Would you really do that? For most people, especially those over 50 who have spent their whole lives building and protecting their family's name, the answer would clearly be no. This mindset that William has now taken on means that Harry's access to royal homes is being strictly controlled. It means that any request to meet is now handled by lawyers and official staff. There are no more surprise visits to Kensington Palace. There are no more simple phone calls that do not turn into formal discussions the next day. The Prince of Wales has reportedly told his security team and the Metropolitan Police units that protect the family that Harry should now be treated like a normal citizen with no special access. This is not just about emotional pain. It is about the clear fact that Harry has shown that he cannot be trusted with the most private and protected part of the monarchy. Every time Harry is allowed to come close, a new headline appears right after. William has now understood that the only way to stop the damage is to completely close off the problem. For Catherine, who is currently working on getting fully healthy again, this protection is extremely important. William's main responsibility is to make sure her surroundings stay calm and safe. He sees Harry's unpredictable actions and his fight with the British press at any cost as a clear danger to that stability. By limiting Harry's influence and keeping him physically away, William is acting as a strong shield for the future of the crown. But while William is building these barriers, Harry is dealing with a very different kind of legal situation. In this situation, his past actions and the people he once treated badly are starting to respond. And this brings us to the surprising statements from people like Charlotte Griffiths, who are no longer ready to stay quiet about what truly happened behind closed doors. The barriers Prince William is creating are being strengthened by a sudden and clear change in the story surrounding Prince Harry. For a long time, Harry presented himself as the ultimate truth-teller. He showed himself as the man brave enough to reveal the hidden side of the monarchy. But as many experienced people over the age of 50 understand, the truth often has a way of coming back around. And then there is the Sussex Squad, a very strong and sometimes aggressive group of online supporters who often go after anyone who criticizes Meghan or Harry. While Meghan speaks out against online bullying, many people notice that she stays silent when her own supporters attack the Prince and Princess of Wales in harsh ways. For William, this feels like the biggest betrayal. He sees a clear connection between the messages coming from California and the online attacks his family receives. For viewers in America over 50, there is a growing feeling of tiredness with this kind of self-focused story. We have seen many celebrities rise and fall, and we understand the difference between something that lasts and something that is temporary. The monarchy is something that lasts. A social media brand is something that can quickly fade. By choosing the second path, Meghan has clearly shown William that they are no longer on the same side. This leads us to a difficult truth. Meghan's media plan has become something that traps her. To stay important in the public eye, she has to keep talking about the royal family. But the more she talks, the more she supports William's decision to distance himself from her. It becomes a repeating cycle with less and less benefit. William has understood that if he stops giving attention, access, photos, and shared public moments, the media attention around the Sussexes will slowly fade on its own. But while Meghan is trying to manage the world of online business, Harry is dealing with something much more serious: the British legal system. His legal fights, which he once believed would prove him right, are now becoming complicated problems that could end up costing him everything. And as we move into the next part of this analysis, we will see how Harry's fight against the press has left him open to legal risks in ways he never expected. There is an old saying that people who live in glass houses should not throw stones. For Prince Harry, that glass house is now broken, and the sharp pieces are falling directly onto his own legal plans. We need to carefully examine the complicated legal mess that Harry has created for himself, a situation so confusing and difficult that it has strengthened Prince William's belief that his brother is not just a problem, but someone who has completely lost his direction. In the United Kingdom and also in the United States, our legal systems are based on the idea of fairness and honesty. If you go to court asking for justice because you say your privacy was violated or your reputation was harmed, you are expected to act with honesty yourself. But Harry's fight against the British press has revealed a very high level of contradiction. He has spent millions of dollars on legal fees to prove that journalists used illegal methods to get information. Yet during this process, he has been accused of doing something very similar: sharing private messages and personal family matters for money in his book and Netflix shows. For people who have spent many years respecting the law and believing in personal responsibility, this is where the Sussex story completely breaks down. You cannot ask for privacy while at the same time selling your brother's private conversations to people around the world for millions of dollars. To Prince William, this is not just a simple disagreement between family members. It shows a serious issue with character. William sees a man who is ready to destroy the legal and social system of the monarchy just to win a personal fight against a few newspaper editors. But the situation becomes even more complicated. We talked about Charlotte Griffiths and others who were once close to Harry. Harry's legal team actually mentioned these people in court, accusing them of being involved in illegal actions or sharing information. Think about that carefully. These are people who protected Harry for many years. They kept his secrets during his younger and more reckless days. They stayed quiet even when they could have earned a lot of money by speaking to the press. And in return, Harry publicly accused them in a high-level court. This is why we are now seeing people start to push back. Those who once felt loyal to the young prince are now thinking about protecting themselves. They are realizing that Harry may sacrifice anyone, even those who once supported him, just to keep his image as a victim. When Charlotte Griffiths speaks now, she is not just sharing gossip. She is protecting her career. She is basically saying, if you accuse me of being a criminal in court, then I will tell everyone who you really are in public. Prince William, watching these legal cases, sees a brother who has become unstable because of his anger. As some observers have pointed out, William's move toward this restraining approach is a direct reaction to that instability. He understands that if Harry is willing to publicly damage his former friends in court, then he could easily do the same to the future king. The strong protective barrier William is creating is his way of making sure that no more information, whether true or false, can be taken from inside the palace and used in Harry's future legal fights. At the same time, the financial cost of these legal cases is extremely high. While the Sussexes live a very expensive lifestyle in California, the growing legal expenses continue to drain their resources. For people who believe in careful spending and planning for the future, watching someone use up a royal inheritance on legal battles that may not succeed is difficult to see. It shows a lack of planning for the future. It shows a man who is still fighting problems from the past while missing chances for the future. The strange part is that Harry's fight against the press was supposed to make him feel protected. Instead, it has made him more exposed. It has brought a level of attention to his life that even the tabloids might not have reached on their own. Every time he goes into court to give evidence, he must speak under oath. And every difference or mistake in his story is recorded permanently. William understands this clearly. He knows that the best way to deal with a fire is to stop feeding it. By cutting Harry off completely, William is refusing to give him the new drama he needs to stay important in both court and the media. But while Harry is becoming trapped in his legal problems, the Prince of Wales is focused on what lies ahead. A future where the monarchy is shaped by those who remain, not by those who have left. And this brings us to the most important part of this entire story. William's main goal is to protect the next generation of royals from the damage caused by the past. Beyond the court cases, the legal documents, and the news headlines, there is a much more personal and human reason behind Prince William's decisions. It is the story of a father who is fully determined to stop a cycle of pain that has followed his family for many generations. When we talk about William's decision to cut ties with the Sussexes, we must see it from the view of a man protecting his children, George, Charlotte, and Louis. For those of us who have raised children, we understand that our main instinct is to create a safe place for them. We want them to grow up in a space where they feel loved, supported, and most importantly safe from any kind of betrayal. Prince William spent his own childhood in the middle of a very public family conflict. The painful breakup of his parents' marriage was shown across the world in the media. He understands better than anyone the deep and lasting effects that family problems can leave on a child's mind. William's vision for the future king, Prince George, and his brother and sister is one of calm and stability. He looks at what Harry has done, the repeated public interviews, the sharing of private family pain for money, and he sees it as a harmful influence. To William, allowing Harry and Meghan back into the close family circle is not just a risk to his own peace. It is a direct danger to the emotional health of the next generation. He does not want George to grow up worrying that a private talk with his uncle might later become part of a book. He does not want Charlotte or Louis to feel like their home is being turned into a show for the public. This is the true meaning of the Ring of Steel. It is not just physical protection. It is an emotional and mental barrier created to give these children the chance to live as normal a life as possible, even in very unusual circumstances. By following a strict rule of no contact, William is making sure that the drama connected to the Sussexes stops at the doors of his home. For any grandparent watching this situation, it makes sense. Sometimes, to protect something beautiful, you have to remove what is harming it. But this is not only about emotional safety. It is also about the future of the monarchy. William is thinking long-term. He knows that for the crown to survive in today's world, it must be seen as a symbol of respect and service, not as a source of drama or entertainment. By clearly separating the royal family from the Sussex brand, he is showing what the monarchy truly stands for. He is also teaching George that being a leader means making hard decisions, and that duty to the institution and the people it serves must come before personal feelings. For the American audience, especially those who respect tradition, there is something admirable in this position. We often hear about Harry's freedom, but we do not often hear about the heavy responsibility that William carries. William cannot simply walk away. He is responsible for protecting a legacy that goes back more than 1,000 years. He sees his role as guarding the future path of the next king. If that means being seen as the one who says no to a brother who has shown he cannot be trusted, then William is ready to accept that role. Recent reports say that William has even started to explain these boundaries to George in a way that is suitable for his age. He is preparing his son for a world where he must be careful about who he trusts. This is a very difficult lesson for a father to teach, but in royal life, it is necessary. William is, in a way, saying, "The cycle of betrayal ends with me. My children will not have to live with the same fears that I did." Public support for William's strong approach is increasing. More and more people are beginning to understand that this is not about a small personal argument. It is a careful and necessary decision. As the Prince of Wales continues to stand firm, he is gaining respect from people around the world who value strength and clear thinking. He is showing that a modern king must be willing to make tough decisions to protect the future of his family and institution. As we move toward the final part of this story, we have to ask an important question. What will happen next? When these boundaries are fully in place and the Sussexes are truly separated, what future remains for them? And how does William plan to lead a monarchy that may be smaller and quieter, but possibly stronger than it has been in many years? At this important moment in history, the image of the British monarchy is changing right in front of us. The restraining mindset that Prince William has taken is not just a legal idea. It is the final closing of a door that many people once believed would always stay slightly open. For William, the decision has now become very clear. The survival of the crown and the peace inside his own home are more important than the feelings tied to a broken relationship with his brother. But what does this mean for Prince Harry? As he now stands outside, without his royal protections and becoming more alone because of his own legal problems, he is facing a very serious reality. Without access, without inside knowledge, and without the ongoing tension with the palace, the Sussex brand may slowly become just a small note in history, even though they once tried to change that history. For a man who wanted freedom, he may soon realize that the deepest kind of freedom can also be the most lonely. This brings us to the most important question for you, our community. In a world where family loyalty is often tested, where do you stand? Do you support Prince William? Do you believe that his Ring of Steel is a necessary step to protect the future King George and the dignity of the monarchy? Or do you think that the door should always remain open for a brother, no matter the cost? We truly value your thoughts and your point of view. Please share your opinions in the comments below. We read every single comment, and your ideas help move the discussion forward. If you found this detailed discussion helpful, make sure to press the like button and share this video with someone who cares about tradition and the future of the House of Windsor. Prince William has made his choice. He is no longer looking back at the shadows of the past. He is now focused fully on the light of a new era, an era built on duty, careful behavior, and a strong commitment to those who remain. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next analysis as we continue to follow one of the most important royal stories of our time.